What's up, guys? It's Brian from Ashford Hub. It's about 7:42 a.m. March 23rd, 2018. We have a brand new trading video here. But first, if you guys are new to us, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube, and if you're watching us on DTube and Steemit, would love a subscription there as well. And an upvote would be very, very nice. So let's get right on into it here. So when we left you guys off last night, we I think we were right about this level right here. And this morning, I'm waking up and I'm a few hours ago, and I'm going over things as far as trading strategy for the day and stuff like that, and seeing what happened overnight and stuff like that. And clearly, this channel right here has showed itself. We had measured that this was an A, a B, and a C. Okay, and we had left off right about here last night. Hoping that this thing was going to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up, because what we're hoping is that this is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Okay, that was kind of like our major plan. Well, it doesn't look like that really anymore, and I had mentioned that on the video. In the event that we were to come down much lower than here, then this whole thing basically looks like it's going to fall apart, meaning this count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're kind of at the level where it's basically almost falling apart, because we're really getting into the wick here of the 1. In other words, this large 1 right here. You can also draw the 1 where the 1 is over here, right? And then we are definitely getting into the bodies right here. So there's a few different counts that we're looking at the same time, and that's what you need to do. That's just kind of the nature of trading, the nature of this business. So, and yes, it's a business. It's not a hobby. If you treat it as a hobby, it's your very low success rate. So you have to treat it as a business, as any business has profits and losses, right? So it's becoming less and less likely. This really doesn't look like a 3-wave down type thing. It doesn't look like a type of structure that would be typical for a 4-wave right now. For a 4-wave right here. So I still want to see a little bit more before I count this completely out. But what's looking like it's really happening is possibly this larger count that I've been mentioning for a long time now, the WXYXZ, where this is the last X right here, and then the Z point could be much lower down, closer to like around this 7,000, 6,900 level, right along this red line right here. Okay, so it's looking more and more that it could possibly be this. Also, at the same time, we've breached below this green line, this top of this trend line right here, which is that top of the this very large descending wedge. And we breached below it. We got above it, and when we got above it, you could see we were testing for quite some time. I redrew the green line in a slightly different way. It's basically the same thing as what we had before, but just a slight modification. I'm just looking to see what other types of ways this whole thing could play itself out right over here, right? Because this is clearly, it's hopping over both sides of this green line, right? And I really want to make sure that we really understand exactly where this thing possibly could sit. So you can see that it's bounced up above it, and then it hit the 1-hour resistance line. Remember, we drew this 1-hour resistance line of 8,754. We drew it right along here when we were right around here at this time frame. So we basically called this right on the money. The high here was 8,766. We called it for 8,754. Okay, so call it $12 difference. $12.03 difference on at least on Bitstamp. So that's as accurate pretty much as you ever get. The market came up, it tested this line, it kissed it, and it came right back down. And when I saw that happening, I said, well, basically the ABC line is possibly out of contention. This really is not really in an ABC most likely anymore. And then the next thing we had called out. We called this out on our Facebook trading team. The link is down below, so definitely sign up right there. Called this out that the market was testing this about this 8600 level, which is right around here, which is the top here, and it also conforms to many other tops if you kind of draw it across. And if that were to break, I imagine that we were going to kind of fall down, quite a bit. We got caught by the 200-day moving average, which makes a lot of sense. We literally, the 200-day moving average is kind of like sticking its hand out there. It looks like it's a hand sticking out right here, like this cup formation. I don't mean cup and handle, but it's just like a cup formation, as if you were going to like catch water in your hand. That's exactly what it did, and it stopped it right here. Okay, the market then tries to rally from there, and the market, when it tries to rally from there, it tries to get up above this green line, and it just hardly touched it, and it then moved down. One of the good things that I like to see is that we did see a lot of sale volume coming in here, right here, but the candle is basically almost doji-like, right? And so that means that even though the bears were trying to push it down, the bulls were trying to keep it up. And at the same time, though, there's a lot of testing of this 200-day moving average. There's a lot of down wicks here, right? And there's some here as well. If I'm to count this, there's a good chance that we could be seeing a fifth wave coming down. It's not a very pretty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's a good chance we could see another fifth wave coming down. Actually, let's just go ahead and take a look. If this is the one right here, right? If this is one right here, and this is top of 2, right? I'm thinking that the third wave possibly would have gotten it right around to about this 1.618, which is about 8,428, right? And then we may see a fifth wave down, and I believe if we do see a fifth wave down, it's going to be somewhere between the 1.618 and the 2.618. Okay, let's call it somewhere around this level, about 8,200. And that this 8,200 level is pretty much at the right along here. It just seems to make sense. It's right also in the center of everything that's going on here about this whipsawing back and forth, right? So a funny thing about resistance and support lines, there's not only resistance and support lines at the terminal tops and the bottoms, but there's also one that tends to happen like in the medium point, right? In like if you were to draw like, for example, like a regression line through all these points right here, right? What is that regression line going to look like? It's going to look like something that's in the middle right here, right? And so a lot of times there's trend lines, support and resistance lines that are, kind of cutting right in the middle of all of this. It's something I think I've failed to mention before, but it happens very, very often. Very, very often, okay? And if you think about it as far as sentiment basis is concerned, you think about it, it's the pendulum of the market, right? It knows that there's something here, right? But the market keeps overextending itself to the buy side, overextending itself to the sell side, and it goes back and forth, right? Until basically you can see it basically like terminated right in the center right here. So this is just an example of one that I'm pulling up, but it basically is right around this 8,200 level. Sorry, I can't speak this morning. Which I think makes a lot of sense if we're gonna get a fifth wave coming down here of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I would look for that, and how would I look for that? Similar in the same situation, I was talking about this 8,600 level, where basically I was calling out, the way in which I would trade this. I would look to see if the market were to break below this 8,600 level, and I would get into a short, and then my short stop loss would be somewhere around here, around this 87.35, maybe 87.50, right? And a very easy target would be the 200 moving average. Yeah, I mean, at least for a portion of your position. All right, that would make a lot of sense. All right, so at least in the past 5-6 trades, and we've basically been, I think, 100%. You know, maybe I should start taking track on it on an actual spreadsheet for you guys so I can show it. But it's, you know, we're very high success rate to say the least. So next, what do I want to say? Yeah, I mean, we have the RSI coming down here. You know, coming down like this. I'd be looking for a breach to the upside on a 1 hour basis in order to see if things could possibly break above this green line. If they don't, you know, the longer we stay below it, the longer we, the higher probability we have a more sustained drop off right here. And really, what it's coming down to, you could see the 200 moving average, right? It's just almost making like a triangle, right? Right, guys? I mean, look at this right here. You know, we have the 200 moving average that's going sideways, and the more that the 200 moving average is going sideways, and you have the green line coming down, the market's getting squeezed right in here, right? So it's as it has to pop up or it has to pop down. You know, I'm 50-50 whether or not we're going to make another fifth leg down or we're going to go ahead and actually pop up. You know, obviously I want to see it pop up. So another thing I want to bring up here is on a 1 hour resistance. Let's update this 1 hour resistance level. We originally called it 8,754, and that did very well for us. And we're now going to call it 8,545. Right, so 8,545. Now this 8,545 is a level that clearly, obviously, we want to see the market get above in order to possibly call this thing being over, and we can continue to move up. Obviously, this is not the defining line, but it is a line that that clearly we obviously have to overcome to the upside, right? If we just go ahead and hover around it, then there's a good chance we could come back down. But in order for us to really for us to kind of move back up again, you know, we have to now eclipse these tops right here of about 9,200 level, right? So that's the 1 hour resistance. There's also a 4 hour resistance line that we have now since we've been coming down. The 4 hour resistance line could be could be changed because the candle is still open, and we're calling about 8,754. Okay, 8,754. Did I move that around again? Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, I should have written this beforehand. Alright, so for our 8,754, and again, this is one too that also needs to be obviously taken out to the upside in order for us to kind of continue to move up. So that's basically about it for this morning. I'm going to be traveling for the weekend, so I'm going to try to make some videos. If I'm not making videos, I'm going to try to have some posts at the very least to our Facebook page there. So definitely go ahead, and if you're interested, go ahead and sign up on the Facebook page. Takes 2 seconds to do. We'll approve you, and then you'll be granted access from there. So with that, we're going to leave it there. Have a great day, guys, and happy trading.